Hello YouTube, it's Sean from Sean's Hockey here, back with another monthly review video, but technically we're going to do April and May here because it didn't go far into May, doesn't warrant another video. So the months of April and May saw the Ottawa Senators qualify for the first time in ages for the playoffs, but it came off of a dodgy April, shall I say, with mixed results. But yes, we finally got to the playoffs, guys. We finally got to see the team in the playoffs, and you know what? Didn't go our way against the Maple Leafs, but I was pretty proud to be a Sens fan. The fact we got there and we gave a good account of ourselves. Obviously not the start to the series, but you know, we somewhat came back and gave a good account of ourselves, but we'll touch on that later in this video. So we're going to start off with some mentions that happened in April. Alex Ovechkin broke the goal scoring record held by Wayne Gretzky. A lot of talk that this could be his last season coming up as well. Some information leaked from Washington Capitals admin staff with season ticket renewals was they were literally peddling the fact that this is going to be Alex Ovechkin's last season. Those rumours were shut down by the Capitals team shortly after they were leaked, apparently trying to get people to renew season tickets. So this could be Alex Ovechkin's last season, let's be honest. It would be a fitting end to a career to maybe pad that stat a little bit more with some more goals. Yeah, it seems to be the way with the Russian players nowadays. They want to go back to Russia for the last few years of their career. So Ovechkin coming into the last year of his deal. Evgeny Malkin's probably in the same position with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just been told he's not coming back. So this will be his last season for sure. Will it be his last in the NHL? Who knows? But massive, massive congratulations to Alexander Ovechkin on the goal scoring record in the NHL. And coming back to some more sort of standard news, really, Senators news, and we're going to touch on this guy here. Jersey was not put there deliberately. It's just the way the cards fell after the Claude Giroux jersey went to Brian, who visited from Canada, my Canadian cousin. We'll touch a bit on that in a minute for you as well. A shout out obviously to Jake Sanderson, who became I think it's the 5th defenseman to have a 50-point plus season with the team, along with Norm McKeever, Erik Karlsson, Wade Redden and Thomas Chabot. He's got a long way to catch up with Erik Karlsson, who I believe has got 5 or 6 50-point season, 50-plus point seasons. It's 6 points. I remember the post now, looking back. Again, that Ottawa Senators European fan page is beautiful to look back on and just get an idea of what I was posting about at the time. So massive congratulations to Jake. His start and stock keeps rising in the NHL. So we're going to get on to April's form, and we're not going to touch on every result. I'm going to try and make these videos a little bit shorter because they end up coming out about 20 minutes. And it's for things like that, me chatting pointlessly about things. But we're going to start off with a pretty significant result, a team that had our number. The first game of April was against the Buffalo Sabres, and of course the Senators lost. One of the worst teams in the NHL, yeah, obviously it was going to be interesting to see how we did against them after the Dylan Cousins trade. And lo and behold, who would score but JBD for the Buffalo Sabres would score. Always going to be on the cards, I think. Just one of those things, isn't it? You couldn't help it. My favourite thing from the game was the guy dressed as a clown behind Jamie McLennan on the bench. Apparently he lost a bet. Or no, wasn't lost a bet. I think he performed very badly in fantasy football, fantasy hockey, that his mates basically told him he had to do that as the payment for performing so bad. But yeah, very, very good fun to watch that. But the Senators obviously took the loss on the night. Allmark gave up a somewhat dodgy goal at the beginning, but you know what? He's been solid for us all season. You can give him 1 or 2. So I wasn't going to cover every game, but the next 3 games were pretty important. So anyway, they then moved on to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Sens played an absolute complete game. The penalty kill was on point, and the Sens came away with the 2 points as they were literally trying to cement that playoff position. Amazing result against the Tampa Bay Lightning, in which saw them again without Brady Tkachuk. He was missing for a lot of the end of the season games, but the Sens performed so well without him. Speaking of Brady Tkachuk, they then went on to the Florida Panthers, and they got another win. Absolutely amazing. Anton Forsberg, I believe, got 40+ saves that night. Looked brilliant. Get a win against the eventual Cup champs, and they looked really, really good. Obviously, both Tkachuks weren't playing in that game. I believe Brady wasn't playing anyway. This is the thing, I'm filming this now in June. Sort of ages ago. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But yeah, they've done absolutely amazing. They were trying to get these points, these important wins, these vital results, which at the beginning of the season, looking at the schedule, I was really, really worried. Like, oh my God, Tampa and Florida coming up. You know, just weren't expecting to get points against them. But the Sens had such a complete game to then go on to the Columbus Blue Jackets. So the Sens would take the first game against the Blue Jackets, but they would then drop the second game against the Blue Jackets. But there was two great things that came out of the loss to the Blue Jackets. One, ironically, we qualified for the playoffs in the wildcard spot, and Fabian Zetterlund scored his first goal as an Ottawa Senator. He's hoping more to come from Fabian Zetterlund following his new contract with the Ottawa Senators. So after that, the Sens then finished off the season in style with only dropping one more game, with wins against the Philadelphia Flyers and finally the Montreal Canadiens, who had our number all season. Great to get a win there, especially as they were trying to get in the playoffs as well. Sadly though, we couldn't actually beat the Blackhawks on the last day of the season, but to be honest, I think a lot of people were playing with the playoffs in mind because that was the end of the season, guys. And then we hit the playoff action, guys. We had 7 potential games against the Maple Leafs, and I'll be honest, I was on the edge of my seat. I could not wait for the playoffs. Had said that 3 times. I was absolutely over the moon to finally get in the playoffs and to be able to see some Sens playoff hockey. It's been the first time in a long time. I knew there was going to be some late nights coming up, and you know what? The first 2 games weren't rewarded very nicely as they started off the playoffs against the Maple Leafs. So the Sens would lose their first 2 games of the series, as we just touched on. And it was basically down to poor decisions and penalty killing at the end of the day. I think, way over the top. Really, really, really excited. These guys wanted to hit the playoffs and they were trying to do everyone's jobs in the first 2 games. Penalties are plenty and it saw them take a 2-0 deficit back to the CTC. So, yeah, I mean, it was all on them really, but they had to pull something out of the bag. As the Sens D stepped up big time in the next 2 games, the Sens would claw 2 games back to make it a 3-2 series. Jake Sanderson scored an OT winner in the first game in a totally brilliant performance by the Sens. They absolutely outclassed Maple Leafs that game. I don't care what anyone says. They were dominant. They were really, really careful in penalties they took. And you know what? They turned the puck around so quickly from defence to forward. They looked a very, very dominant side and also aggressive. They weren't giving the Maple Leafs anything whatsoever. So Sanderson scored the OT winner and would send the Sens into the next game where hopefully they could get their second win of the series. And the second win they did as they blew away the Maple Leafs in a 4-0 shutout victory. A huge dominant game from Tyler Cleven. I said at the beginning of the season on my Pompey Games Room channel season preview, I was expecting a big season from Tyler Cleven. And you know what? That culminated in a great playoffs for the young lad. And you know what? He's just been given a new contract. I cannot wait to see what the future has for Tyler Cleven in the Ottawa Senators D. But sadly then, we came on to Game 6 and the Sens would fall in the series and we would lose 4-2. I think the Sens could really, really hold their heads high. After starting off the playoffs really badly, they came back and in a big, big way, they achieved some really, really good stuff to end the playoffs. I couldn't have been happier and prouder to be a Sens fan, as I touched on at the beginning of this video. In fact, I think I did touch on the beginning of this video because I actually recorded 6 minutes without the camera rolling. But anyway, super proud to be an Ottawa Senators fan, and I couldn't have been happier with the way that the games came out in the end. It was absolutely amazing whilst it lasted, the ride. Things have to come to an end sometimes, and you know, you have to give it to the Leafs. They took their chances when they got them. Game 6, they finished us off clinically in the end, and losing 4-2 to the Leafs, you know, and 4-2 on the scoreboard and in the series, you know, that's just the way it had to be, I suppose, at the end. But can't fault the team at all. I think they've done a great thing this season. They played meaningful games at periods in the season where they wanted, when they said they needed to, and they gave a great showing of themselves. And I think that can't be overlooked in the season review as a whole. Just touching on these games, the final 2 games I will always remember. Obviously, it was a 4-0 shutout win, but obviously then we got eliminated in the next game. I'll remember them for the fact that I watched Game 5 with my Canadian cousin Brian and his wife Joanna sitting to the side of him. They were in Kelowna, and watching it from there. You know, had this NHL Network on my laptop to the right of me, and them on Facebook chat to the side, and we were sort of watching it together, sort of live chat. Sorry, so cameras on and stuff, and yeah, just. You know, it didn't give anything away, but in a few days, they would actually be sitting on my sofa in the UK watching Game 6 with me. Yeah, I had a surprise visit from my Canadian cousins, which you'll see I recorded a video with Brian. Well, I've had the signed Marion Hossa stick for a long time. I look up there because it's hanging above my door. But I was always intending to get a video up on this channel, but thankfully with him coming over I was able to record it with him, and hence why I didn't get a chance to record this review video earlier. That basically May was all taken up with family, which is never a bad thing. I enjoyed their visit thoroughly, and I will always remember being able to watch the Sens game live with Brian and Joanna in the UK. So yeah, a lot of things going on there. But it blew my mind. So yeah, Ottawa Senators had a great 2024-2025 season. It'll be a season that I'll remember for a long, long time. There is a lot to look forward to next season. I'm going to try and record a video after this, I think, where I just go through what I expect. A very, very quick video for maybe people staying and people going for next season. But I'm really, really hopeful for next season. I think we're going to have a really, really good a strong season, I'm going to say. I think the playoff berth would have really, really inspired this team to really want to push that next level. The season that Tyler Clevens had especially, I think it's only going to benefit this team. We've got Levi Merilainen as well, that had an absolute lights out performance at stages this season. And you know what? We've got some really, really good pieces in the lineup that have gotten a lot of playoff experience, and it's only going to benefit them in the regular season next year. Timmy Stu had a great season. I predicted him to get his 90 points this season, but he just fell short. But you know what? Absolute dominant performance this season. At stages this year, he really had to pick up a lot of the slack with just injuries in the lineup. But even down to the lower lines, I mean, we had massive things from Nick Mahenpalo this season, coming in again on defence. The lower line, especially with Amadio, Greg, and Adam Gaudette, Shane Pinto, and David Perron when he was back. They were brilliant this season. David Perron missed a lot of time with injury and obviously things going on in his personal life, which you can't take into account when you're doing these videos, because family is family and that comes first. But when he was playing, I mean, he was one of my favourite Sens during certain games. They came up with big goals down the line, and the penalty kill was also good this season, apart from the first 3 games against the Maple Leafs in the playoffs. That's sort of, you can argue that you want it to be the best at that time, but wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I am thoroughly looking forward to 25-26, guys. What are your thoughts? I'm hoping to do more videos like this along the way as well next season, so I hope you want to stick around. Please feel free to comment, rate and subscribe, and I hope to see you all again in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.